Our friends at Facebook are up to their tricks again.
Well, that was going to be the primary talk of today is Facebook and the Metaverse, which is planning.
Yes.
Yeah, so they are going to be talking about the digital assets of their, I guess, of their, not really their app store, but really their, well, yeah, I guess it would be their app store, right?
Yep.
Yeah, so just to give a quick sentence, because Frank knows a lot more about it than I do, but basically, Facebook parent Meta is planning to take a cut of 47.5 of the digital assets on its virtual reality platform, Horizon World, which is an integral part of the company's plan for their so-called Metaverse. So what I wanted to do was Frank's going to guide us through a little bit more about the story, but also we're comparing this to Apple because the big controversy last year was Facebook was a high, I would say, complainer of the fees that the App Store was taking. And that's what in fact, they were probably spearheading that.
Yes.
And then here we are a little over a year later, and this news came out, and of course, everyone was comparing what they said last year because of their complaints. But meanwhile, they're doing an even worse cut.
Well, that's typical of, well, I'm not a big Facebook fan, so maybe I shouldn't say it that way. But this is an example of how somebody comes out against Apple because I guess they're the top dog and says how unfair their 30% of the 30% percentage of what a developer makes on the App Store is unfair. And you and I have discussed this a lot before, and I don't think 30% for what the developer gets is not unfair, even compared to the book publishing, which I was familiar with.
So let's break this down. We have a special little keynote on the screen. Watch this. Ready? Abracazam.
Look at this. Here we go.
So we wanted to break this down a little bit in a keynote presentation so everyone can kind of see it. That way you can get the comparison and you make your own judgment on that.
Yes.
All right. So we're going to bring up the comparison, but let's break down a little bit about this, about Meta and what they're doing exactly. Because people kind of know the Apple one a little bit more, but the Meta one's brand new to a lot of people.
Well, yeah. So Meta, they charge a 30% fee for sales made on MetaQuest, its virtual reality system, which was formerly known as Oculus. Now, on top of that, Horizon World's Meta's Metaverse system, tough to say, will charge 25% sales fee. So that means that Meta in totality, formerly Facebook, will be charging up to 47.5% from the sale price, leaving the seller with 52.5%. So therein lies the rub. They were saying how they're going to be giving the developers more money, it's going to be taking less fees. So by comparison, Apple really adjusted. They used to take straight out 30% from everybody.
Yeah.
Then they adjusted last year. They went from
after
15.
all this controversy. Yeah. So after all this controversy, with everyone complaining about it, Apple made an adjustment based on the amount of money that they're going to be getting. So this is for, so I understand this is for existing developers who make up to $1 million in proceeds, and also, I believe, new ones as well.
Yeah. So up to $1 million, they'll take 15% of the selling price. over $1 million, they take 30%.
Mm-hmm.
Now, just on the face of it, you say, well, that's kind of high. But when you look at the infrastructure that Apple has to maintain to have that, it's not. And when you look at the App Store itself, that store gives the developer access to billions of people. Okay. And once the developer creates the application, he really doesn't have to do anything else. He doesn't have to worry about distribution. He doesn't have to worry about warehousing a product. He submits it to Apple. Once it's approved and it passes all of Apple's security steps, it goes out onto the app store.
The App Shack? You almost call it the App Shack.
Yeah. Whatever.
Man, if I had a wish, they could change the App Store to the App Shack.
Yeah.
App Shack, baby.
There you go. But and the developer sets the price. So you could sell it for $1. You can sell it for $500. Doesn't matter. Now, you could, like a lot of people have asked me, well, what about the free apps? Well, you'll see a lot of the free apps will say in-app purchases. Mm-hmm. So essentially, you get the basic app, and then if you want to add on to it, you have these additional in-app purchases.
Yep.
Any additional in-app purchases, the developer gets the 70%, and Apple gets 30%.
I wanted to mention that there are a lot of people who do loopholes around that. There's an app that I subscribe to that tells you to go to the website of their site to sign up for it. Mm-hmm. And then you can go and access the site. So that's actually a workaround. So it's actually a streaming site. So they don't take anything on the app itself, but they'll do it on their individual site, which avoids this fee that they have to pay, the cut. So, which is actually a very smart idea, but it does make you have to go to the web version. So it just links it right to Safari.
Yeah, but I mean, I don't want to say in Apple's defense, but from my knowledge base of the publishing industry, Apple is putting out all of the capital to maintain the servers worldwide, the security. And the one thing that I was always big on was when I buy something from the App Store, I don't have to worry about, is somebody going to get my credit card number? Is there going to be some sort of security breach that's going to get all of that information? Now, if you, let's say in Metaverse, and they go to other platforms and you're buying stuff from the developer, do they maintain the same security standards? Are their systems potentially accessible to be hacked? Mm-hmm. And how are you and your credit card and your identity in danger? Whereas with Apple, in my opinion, that is all pretty much buttoned down. And
there hasn't really been
something.
And there hasn't really been a big leak that I remember for that happening. I mean, the only big thing was when kids were using their parents' Apple ID to make credit card purchases, which is that's been kind of resolved. But I also noticed, before you move forward, I noticed that on this chart that you look at the difference at how much Apple has paid.
Yes.
Compared to Facebook, which obviously you can't, I wouldn't say it's not the fairest comparison on there, but it's still a really big number.
Well, it wasn't really meant to be a comparison. It was just there for informational purposes to our viewers. Right. Apple pays the developers monthly. Mm-hmm. They automatically cut checks and send it to them. They don't have to wait for their money. Now, since 2019, Apple has paid developers a total of $155 billion. I'm sorry, at the end of 2019, they paid $155 billion since 2008.
Mm-hmm.
As of January of 2022, it has paid $260 billion, an
Wow.
increase of $105 billion.
Wow. I was going to say like maybe 50 billion more. That's crazy.
That's a lot. And
Yeah.
again, I mean, you know, I'm not saying Apple hasn't made money on it. They do, but let's face it, businesses are in business to make money. And
Really?
I think Apple makes you know, one of the safest platforms out there.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so but that's my opinion. Now, let's go to Metaverse. Now, Metaverse, you know, they're going to potentially take up to 47%.
Yep.
So the big thing with Epic Games was that they weren't getting enough money. Now,
Right.
Epic Games is also another $1 billion company, and they
Mm-hmm.
were getting billions of dollars from Apple. All right, even after the 30%. And so it's really an argument between $1 billion companies about who's going to get more money, not about the ultimate consumer getting a cheaper product. But so Facebook paid out more than 9.5 billion to its developers since 2007. Now, I put an asterisk on that because we were really unable to find more current figures for the metaverse. If somebody has them out there, they could, you know, send it to us. We'll gladly update our keynote here.
Maybe we will. Depends how lazy you are.
Yeah.
But this is another thing that you quoted from, I believe this is from Horizon, which is Meta, whatever.
Yes, this is the one of the vice presidents for the metaverse. You want to go to the next slide?
Oh no, we have to read this.
There
I mean,
you
people
go.
barely read this, so I'll read it. Over time, we plan to bring Horizon's world to more platforms, and so the platform fee won't always be going to Meta. As Horizon Worlds rolled out more platforms like mobile, we expect those platforms to charge their own fee. Horizon VP said that we think it's a pretty competitive rate in the market. We believe the other platforms, Mojave their share. What does that mean?
To have
Platforms.
platforms, yeah, be able to have their share. I had a typo.
Oh, you said Mojave, man. I just copied and pasted this right from you. You wrote this thing up. So
my question here is, you know, will this increase the developer's cost, resulting in less profits? You know, what if Meta decides, well, we're still going to take our 47%, and whatever the other platform charges, you have to absorb it. So now they would get something less than 52%. Because even though they said they're going to expand this to more platforms, they didn't really explicitly say that 25% would be relinquished on the Meta side and be applied to the other platform side. And like I said earlier, my question is, if I'm buying something, who am I paying? Where's my credit card information going to? Is it going to both places? To the metaverse and to some other platform?
Yeah, I guess it's like, I don't know how clear that is.
Yeah. So, I mean, my question would be, how safe and secure is it? And are the users really going to, I'm sure they'll go for it. There'll be people out there clamoring to go for it. But the whole point of this was to show that, you know, guess what? They say that 30% was too high. Well, apparently it's not high enough because they're taking 47.5.
Yeah, it's funny. Someone actually wrote on Twitter, and someone said, "I hate you, Facebook." And another one said, "If Meta wants 47.5 of the NFT sales, remember that's part of this too. They got to talk to the IRS because they don't even have that after taxes." Elsewhere, the NFT market OpenSea takes a 2.5 cut of each transaction. So you're adding all these different transactions for it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and then in November, Mark Zuckerberg said his company was going to try to help the Metaverse creators avoid Apple's fee. And he quoted, "As we build for the Metaverse, we are focused on unlocking opportunities for the creators to make money for their work." He said that the 30% fees that Apple takes on transactions makes it harder to do that. So we're updating our subscription product so now more creators can earn more. But it doesn't come across that way.
No.
Well, I'm trying to figure out why he would say that when he knows that if you could, maybe Facebook's taking less, but maybe this other entity is taking more. So really, it's right. I mean, that's what it comes off.
That's what I'm saying. Sure, even if they relinquish that 25%, right, and that's going to go to the other platform, that's still, you're still absorbing, almost 47.5%. So you're still paying a higher total fee, regardless of where it goes.
Right.
Whereas with Apple, it's 30%. You're getting 30%. And of course, you build that into your price,
right?
Just like any other product. And even in grocery stores, I don't know if a lot of people know this, but when you go to the grocery store and you see an end cap on each of the aisles, if you want your product on that end cap, guess what? You've got to pay. You got to pay more for that end cap, and that's not worldwide. That's in each store. Okay. So just keep in perspective, when you pay 30%, you put your product in the App Store, it's worldwide. It's to everybody. Now, granted, depending upon what the product is, it may not get as many views as something else, but if it grows in popularity, then it'll get more hits. And this last chart, it's a graphic of what Apple has paid or distributed to its developers, and you can see the huge upswing year over year over year.
Yeah, but look at specifically when the pandemic started. Look at the difference.
Oh yeah,
it's gained more in those years than any other years.
Yeah, well, because perhaps more developers had time working from home, all of that stuff. They had more time to develop things and submit it to the App Store. And more people were spending time on the App Store, finding useful applications for their phones and their iPads.
It's a very interesting chart to show that. And I think, I don't know what's, first off, this thing's not even launched yet, so we have to really see, and also what developers go on the platform as well. But
yeah.
Well, time will tell.
Yep. I just thought it was very interesting that, this whole thing broke and people were like, well, wait a minute here. You're doing completely opposite of what you said.
Yeah.
So,
are they really? I mean, it's like, it's really interesting. And then, of course, they want to have their own currency, and like they're really trying to like go. Be above and beyond what they're trying to do here. Yeah. And let's just say this. I mean, personally, I have a Facebook account. I have an Instagram. I have not. I gave Facebook some advertising money. We did that during like our beginning stages of this podcast, just to get our name out there, see what happens. But we haven't really, me personally giving Facebook money has been a very small amount that I have given them, because one, I don't trust them, and two, I don't know what it would do for me, especially for my wedding business. Now I will say this. Facebook, as far as getting my name out there as my wedding company, has been extremely helpful. I've been in these private Facebook groups of brides who got married, and that's where my entire recommendations come from. So Facebook has been very valuable to my business. In fact, I don't know where I would be without it, to be real honest with you.
I mean, there are some very good aspects to Facebook. There are just some other parts that I feel that they're lacking.
Right. I mean, I have posted less on there regarding my own stuff, but when it comes to like my business stuff, I probably post more about that, especially when I'm done with gigs. You know, on Instagram and Facebook, every time I'm done with a wedding, the next day, all the footage on my iPhone, I edit together in iMovie. Which, by the way, iMovie, I don't know if you saw the new MyMovie with the storyboards, but it's some pretty cool stuff. It's a great. It's like almost like the memories feature of photos.
Right.
You can like kind of edit it now, you know, and it kind of puts it together for you. It's kind of neat. So I'm going to try that the next wedding.
I have to get my new computer before I can see that.
No, here's the weird part about it. They updated it on iOS, but they didn't update it on Mac.
Oh.
So it's an iOS exclusive thing, which is weird too.
Yeah.
I don't know why they wouldn't put that up. Yeah, so a little odd, but it's really good. But the point I was trying to make is that I do a same-day edit. So I put it up on my Instagram, and I put it on my Facebook, and I tag the people that are in it. And the last video I just did had over 1,000 views.
Wow. Yeah. Very nice.
Yeah, so, I mean...
1,000 views. How many people are at the wedding?
I mean, remember, there's a lot of people that weren't there, and I'm sure the bride and groom, like, watched it, like, at least 10.
Well, I'm thinking if there were 200 people or 250 people at the wedding, you know, what would you expect? Maybe if you hit 400 or 500.
Yeah, I mean, that's the reach that it says. So, I mean, a reach is just a reach, you know. I mean, I don't know if someone actually, you know, really watched it, but according to my statistics, yeah, it's a very positive thing that I do here. With that, so I'm really happy. Like I have 154 views on my Instagram, but then I go on my Facebook. Forget it. It like really like it's blown up. So
there are certain things that you get more views on Instagram than you would on Facebook, and other items you get more on Facebook than you do Instagram. So
yep, that's why I got to do both. Yeah. But I still think there is a positive to Facebook. I just think that they're this specific thing that they want to do, especially this whole meta. Ever since they changed their name to the Metaverse, it's been odd. It's like they want to try to control. I mean, these are the people that wanted to say, "Hey, use Facebook for the election." You know, that's what they want to get to that point. Where the government says, "Hey, Facebook, you're going to be the point we go to for our election results." Like that would be hell on earth, but that will never happen. But yeah. So anyway, thank you, Frank, for bringing that keynote to us. I really do appreciate you taking control. The only reason why I'm like a little out of it today is because I have a freaking tooth problem because I had a cavity that they found, but I didn't feel anything, and then they finally did something, and now my mouth is like killing me right now. I can't even. It's been a week. And I have to wait till Tuesday, right before I'm going to Atlantic City with my wife because we have to go enjoy her birthday. That's right. Mm-hmm. So we got to go enjoy that at 43 years old.
Oh, my God. 43.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, so, man, you're getting older.
Yeah, man, I got a gray hair right there.
Yeah, I got a bunch of them.
Yeah, well, you haven't had black hair since 1901, so you know.
Oh man! Hey, for your tooth, take some blackberry brandy.
Don't have that, but
you gotta go get some.
No, I'm too lazy. All right, everybody. Thank you very much for joining us for the podcast. We do appreciate you. Please leave us a 5-star review. We do appreciate it. And, of course, go to our YouTube. Frank, you want to guess how many subscribers we have before we go?
835.
No, that is completely wrong. So 911 subscribers. We're getting there, Frank.
All right, 911.
Yeah. Now, here's a more important question. How many views of your video? Of numbers?
Oh, I don't know. I haven't checked.
Well, why not, Frank? I mean, you're so proud of it that you bragged that you weren't getting enough views. So come on.
What's the latest views?
Well, hold on a second. I got to look for it. Give me a second, man. I was trying to hope you would stall me for a little bit.
Oh.
So you're at 59,400 views.
59,400 views.
Yep, that's right, baby.
Whoa. Well, and did you release the second one yet?
Yes, the second one was released. That's only got about 354. So remember, we just got published back in January, so we're still climbing on that one. But you know what? People are watching the stuff, baby.
There you go.
That's what matters.
Yeah.
You know, some people are watching my Final Cut one, which is great. So every Friday we've been coming out with a new Final Cut video, which have been great. Really good for just beginners. That's the goal, is to talk to beginners with their videos. Try to make something nice. If you don't have iMovie, go with Final Cut. I think it's, plus I talk about how to get a free trial of Final Cut, which I think is really important.
Yep. Hopefully, we're bringing some base knowledge to new Apple users.
Yeah, and they're all random. Like, we're really randomizing our different things. We're going to talk about iMessage with screen sharing. I have another Final Cut video coming up. We have another numbers video coming up. So we're really iPhoto, yeah. If you have your iLife 08 still in your computer, we can talk about iPhoto. So, all right, buddy. Thank you very much for joining us for the Think Different podcast. I am Will. That is Frank, the Jurassic Park owner, wearing his hat, and I love every single one of you.
Take care.